Hi everyone, I'm Rosie, head of floral design for the Wedding Academy. So this is a pre-recorded training because I'm actually due to have my second baby 2 weeks today. So wanted to make sure we had some training out for you. So this is probably coming at a really good time because this training is well, it's actually more of just like a really open and honest conversation rather than training. But it's just about how I navigate, obviously, managing a business around having a family. And sort of like that work-life balance, really. And I just wanted to talk to you about like the overwhelm that can come when you actually start a business. Um, so I'm due to have my second baby. I have a 2.5 year old toddler at home already. So as you can imagine, life is a little bit hectic. And I don't really have the freedom to sort of just put all the hours into my business as I previously did. So when I first started my business in 2018, I say started my business, and when I say that, I mean I was obviously actively completing my diploma with the Wedding Academy. I had created an Instagram and I was like building a website. So in terms of actually having a business, I didn't really have one that was making any income, but I was putting it out there, of course, like I did. I remember a really commonly used phrase that I heard so much when I started, which was faking it till you make it or fake it till you make it. And that was so true for me. I really resonated with that. Um, Obviously, shortly after I started that journey, COVID hit. So I was literally devoting every spare time minute I had to working on my business. So when I first started in 2018, I was working full time, Monday to Friday. I lived close to where I worked. So I was getting home about 4:30, and then I was literally working on my business until the time that I went to bed. So when I say working on my business, I was creating my website myself. All my advertisement, marketing, everything that I thought that I should have been doing when starting a business, I was doing myself. So I was reading a lot of books. I had enrolled in numerous other courses which I look back on now and absolutely didn't need to do. Um, but all of my spare time, I was investing into my business. Now, obviously, it was quite easy to do that when COVID hit because we didn't have any other option to have much of a social life. So it wasn't like I was giving much up. But in 2018, when I did start, I was sacrificing a lot. I wasn't going out with my friends. I was literally so consumed mentally and physically with building this business that I literally didn't have a work-life balance at all. I was just working 100% of the time, which really isn't a good way to be. And I absolutely would not advise that anybody does that. And really, this is why I wanted to come on and just have this conversation because I wanted to tell you about the mistakes that I made because I don't want you to make them as well. So I was reading all of these like business coaching books, and I was in business coaching like Facebook groups, paid subscriptions. I paid for business coaching. I paid for a course which was a couple of £1,000, like which was like passive income, which I absolutely had no business doing whatsoever because I didn't even have an active business, let alone a passive business to sell. But I saw all of these successful business women that were in the coaching groups that I was in, and I wanted to be them basically. I was looking at them, and I'm very much a person that wants something yesterday. I am impatient. And I'm, really obviously having to learn the importance of being more patient. But in terms of my business, I have always been quite an impatient person, and I wanted to be more successful and more established a lot more quicker because I was seeing all these other people in these positions, and I wanted to be like them. So I was doing these courses which I absolutely had no need to do whatsoever. Spent lots of money that I really didn't need to spend, and that I do regret spending because I've never utilized this information and that that I got from these courses. So it really was a complete waste of my time and money. And I really don't want you to make the same mistakes. But these business coaching books that I was reading, they were telling me that like the only way that I could be successful was to join the 5 a.m. club, get up at 5 a.m., do your exercise, do your morning affirmations, do your manifesting. So you have to live the fake life that you want to live, basically. Tell yourself that you are going to achieve all of this, whatever your goals and achievements are. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have those goals and you shouldn't manifest and you shouldn't have these morning affirmations. If that works for you, that works for you, but you don't have to do them, is all I want you to know. Um, there's so many like holistic business coaches out there that tell you that you need to be doing all of that stuff to be successful. And I did all that stuff. I did it all. And I just want you to know that you don't have to do it is the only reason I'm saying it. Because I can assure you now, I do not get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I do not do morning affirmations or any of that stuff. And I'm okay. So, yeah, make your choices wisely with regards to how you spend your time. And trust me, I mean, being a mum of a toddler and expecting a second, like, I'm not getting up at 5 unless I absolutely have to get up at 5. I mean, I know I've got a lot of early mornings coming again with a newborn and nightly wake ups. So I'm not waking up at 5 to do manifesting. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, I spent a lot of money at the beginning, which I really didn't need to spend. So I just wanted to come on and say that, you need to just slow down and focus on what's actually going to help you progress with your business. Um, so if, like me, you are going to be a fresh flower florist, then really and truly you don't need to be investing loads of money into stock or anything until you actually physically need it. So for me, I mean, I have a really big sort of like higher collection now of like vases, candles, stands, all of that type of thing, but I didn't buy that all straight away. I bought things as my couples requested them, which meant I didn't have to spend loads and loads of money right from the outset. If, of course, you're going to be a stylist as well, or you're going to be working with artificial flowers, then of course you might need to invest more money than I did into actually starting your business. But I would say that it's really important to obviously invest what money you do have into courses which are going to progress you in your chosen area, rather than thinking you need to do all these like business coaching courses and like subscriptions and things that potentially are not actually going to aid you getting further quicker. It's really hard when you're seeing really established businesses and like florists that you want to be like, and thinking that the only way to get there is to do the course that they are selling, stuff like that. There's so many courses out there, but I would say just take some time to really sort of gain like experience in your own style rather than trying to be like somebody else's. And working at home, gaining experience at home, like constantly like learning, like bettering yourself through, there's so many training that you can do online, like YouTube and stuff. And so many florists do put like tutorials out on their Instagrams and stuff. So just practice loads and know your own style before you spend money on courses, learning what other florists are teaching you because their style might not be yours. But at the beginning of your learning journey and your business journey, it can be very consuming seeing these other, established businesses and wanting to be like them. So you buy into their courses when in actual fact, in a couple of years down the line, that's not benefiting you because your styles are very different. I hope that makes sense. But I just think you need to take time to get to know yourself, get to know your style before you start spending lots of money. Because as I say, I not with other floristry courses, but I spent a lot of money on courses which I just absolutely didn't need to do. And I do regret doing them, but it is what it is. Done it, it's gone. Right, I'm just having a look at what else I've put down here. So for me, time management is a really big thing when it comes to running a business and also running a family. So as I said, when I first started my business, I was working full time. I was devoting every single hour I had into building my business. And I was able to do that because I didn't have a family. However, now my little one, he was born in 2021. So since then, I've obviously had no choice but to really slow down, take a step back from my business and actually work around him and work around family life. So a lot of people do say that obviously in our industry, we're really fortunate that we can make it work around our families. We can pick and choose like the hours that we want to do and, the commitments that we take on. I do think that's not 100% true, because it might be true for other vendors that are not getting booked so far in advance. However, for us as florists, people tend to be booking us like a year or 2 years in advance of their wedding. So you're not making a decision on your family life for in a month's time. You're making that decision 2 years in advance. So it can be quite hard. And I think when you are in them very early stages of starting a business, it can be hard to say no to work. And you obviously want to take it all on and you want to build your portfolio up. I think it depends, of course, what your home life is like, the age of your children, if you have children, and what your partner does. So for me, when I first started, my partner, he's fully self-employed. So he has always, since we've been together, worked Saturdays. So I was able to take on all the weddings of a weekend because I wasn't spending the weekends with him anyway. So it made no difference to me if I was working. Um, Whereas now, yes, he still works on a Saturday, but he no longer works on a Sunday, and we've got a child. So obviously, I don't take weddings on for Sundays because I know that that is like our family day. And with regards to obviously Saturdays, of course, a lot of weddings are Saturdays, but especially for this year, I didn't take on all of the weddings that I could have because I didn't want all of my Saturdays to be filled. I wanted to make sure, especially throughout the summer, that I had time to enjoy, those summer weekends like with my family, which has also been really beneficial because as I say, I'm due to have a second baby in 2 weeks' time. So I don't know what date this is actually being published, but the date today is the 18th of June. So I'm due my second baby on the 2nd of July, and then I've actually got my first wedding post baby at the end of July. So really hoping baby's going to be on time. It's going to be a bit mad, but I mean, I've already planned it all. Or like my whole order list is ready. I've got three florists booked in to assist me, a fourth one on standby if I'm not physically able to actually do the work. I'd still be there to like supervise, but I wouldn't actually physically do it. So we're just going to play that by ear. But I just think you need to be really super organized and you need to have your time management like down to it, like down to a T basically. So for me, what works really well is I have to have like a physical to-do list. So, and that's literally just on my note section on my phone. I don't have anything fancy. But every time I think of something that needs to be done, and it could be as simple as ordering something for my business or sending an email, I put it on my to-do list, because it might not be that I get round to doing it that day or even the following day, but I know that if it's on there, I'm not going to forget it. So I am constantly writing everything down on my to-do list and then taking it off once that task is complete. Um, I know some people might find it really beneficial, and I know again when I started out and I was doing all this like training, like visual aids. So if you like just go on Google, you could download like a monthly like time block calendar, and you could literally just like print them out and like have them up on your like your bedroom office wall or whatever. You might find it useful to like physically like time block, like write it in what how you're going to spend your days. That I don't need to do that. That doesn't really work well for me, but it might be that that works well for you. But I feel like time blocking is really important because especially when as a business owner, there's so many things to constantly be doing, and you know, you've got so many thoughts in your head and such an overwhelming to-do list that things can get forgotten, or you could simply just like start a task, then move on to something else. Um, Without, you know, getting things done like, you know, properly and investing that time. So I do think time blocking and scheduling certain tasks for certain days does work really well for me. Um, Let me see what else I wanted to talk to you about. Making sure you have time for yourself. Now, I've always been a person that finds it really hard to sit and do nothing. So if I've got some time at home where my little one's at childcare, and I'm, you know, not actually physically working, I can't just sit down and watch telly, put a box set on. I find that really difficult to do. I always sort of have to be busy to feel like I've accomplished something within that day. However, being pregnant this second time, obviously not having that luxury of being able to sit down with a toddler at home as well, it's really forced me to use the time that I do have when he's not here, when he's at childcare, really wisely. And if that's going swimming, going to the gym, or you know, once a month I try and have a facial, like they're just like little things that I really look forward to, which I know really help me mentally, like not get so overwhelmed and overstressed with constantly being busy. Um, so yeah, I would definitely say that, you know, I used to think that like working every hour under the sun and constantly putting stuff out on my on Instagram and constantly showing people that I was busy was like the only way to be successful or to portray that I was successful. But I just want to say to you that you don't have to do that. Like, make sure that you are looking after yourself because otherwise, you know, you could get burnout, you could become unwell. It's so easy at the beginning when you start to compare yourself against others. There's that really well-known phrase, imposter syndrome. You're constantly looking at what more successful people are doing or what your competitors are doing, and you tell yourself, well, I know I certainly did, that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough to have these clients that I have, or, you know, to be getting the interest that I'm getting because I don't have the skills and experience that these other people do. Um, so you constantly feel like you need to be working, like striving to be like these people, but you just have to take a step back and really focus on what it is that you want. And if you want to be someone that has a wedding booked every single weekend of the year, then that's your goal and that's fine. But just remember to factor in the time to chill, to rest, to recover, so that you don't mentally get burnt out because it is a really easy place to get into. And remember that comparison is the thief of joy. Like you can see what other people are doing and you have no idea what's actually going on behind the scenes. Just remember that Instagram is only like the best of the like people put the best snippets of things out there, don't they? So yeah, don't get so consumed by what other people are doing that you like forget about the achievements that you're making and the small steps that you know you're doing to progress your business. Um so, yeah, that's it really. It is a short and sweet one. And as I said, it was just more of like an honest conversation rather than any like actual training as such. But I just wanted you to sort of see that, you know, it's not always going to be glamorous. It's not always what people are putting out there on Instagram. It is navigating around childcare, it's navigating around home life, other employment and it you know it isn't easy and people of course make it look easy and I remember seeing all of this when I was first starting out and just wanting to be like these really successful business owners and in reality it's not always going to be like that so yeah, so just to recap, really, just I would say that don't get sucked into every course under the sun. Don't get sucked into all of like the business coaching and subscriptions and things. Don't spend money unnecessarily at the beginning of your business journey. Just take the time, slow down to actually learn your style, learn your ideal client, learn the direction that you want your business to go in before you start thinking that you have to spend lots of money on all these different courses, or subscriptions, that sort of thing. Try not to take everything on because it can become overwhelming. It can lead to burnout. Make time for yourself. Make sure you are scheduling like rest and recovery, especially if you've got a young family as well. Like working and being a parent, like is so mentally and physically draining that when you are considering starting a business, I mean, I know how much it took over my life, and I didn't even have a young family. So, if you are in a position where you are starting a business and you've got a young family, then I just want to say hats off to you because it is so hard. It is really hard to balance it all. So, well done to you if you are taking that step. But just remember that there is no race, there is no competition. Have your goal, and whether that's more time, more financial freedom, more flexibility, you want to just go part-time from employment, or whether you want to leave employment altogether, it's really good and important to have goals and to have time frames, but you can't have it all now. You can't have it all today. And that is quite a hard lesson to learn. As I said, I am quite an impatient person when it comes to things like that. But it doesn't help because it puts so much stress and pressure on you. So just try to take a step back and actually take things slow and just remember that every step forward is a step forward. Um, yeah. So that's it really. So yeah, sorry, short and sweet, but just wanted to come on, be really, really honest with you. And hopefully some of that might resonate with you, and you might find it useful. But hopefully you'll be joining me in my next training, and I will speak to you soon.